Okay, so yeah, so my a question would be then, in the first two dreams, and refresh my memory. What was the first one?
So the first one is in the gladiator arena.
Yes. So
It's the horrific and brutal where they're shocking the animal, or put the animal in a little pit and lock
yeah.
them in and then shock them, torture their heads.
So maybe we can. I can ask questions around my experience with that dream in this first stage,
Yes,
right?
yes, great.
The ego. And so in that dream, I was sitting in the last row of this like old school gladiator, right? Stadium, and I had to watch. As much as I wanted to help, I had what felt like things present to me, two people I knew, but I couldn't see them, and they were telling me I had to watch, and I couldn't do anything about it. And we discussed this, me being like powerless, and
And I think what that represented, when I read through that dream, what
um,
I take from it is that represents you are essentially at that time, this phase, powerless over those emotions, and you have to face those emotions. You can't run away from those emotions, and that's you being held in place. He says, no, there's nothing you could do right now but watch. In other words, you have to become familiar with those emotions. This is that concept of you have to arrive at a place before you can leave it, right? Or you have to feel those emotions in order for you to go beyond those emotions. That's what those are. That's what both that first dream was about, the gladiator arena, and the second dream, which was your dog Matilda and the steamroller
yes.
wanting to roll.
So with my practice and my mindfulness practices, and
What's going on?
uh, well, so I also want to just backtrack a little bit too because of dreams,
Okay.
because um, one of the reasons I like you so much is because we did talk about the nightmares and what dreams are, or what they can teach us, I guess, right? And so maybe you can kind of like explain a little bit about like nightmares, maybe kind of how they form or whatever, or the unconscious mind.
What the point of them are.
Yeah.
My understanding, the way that I'm working from this is that
Yes.
the dreams they are a snapshot of what's going on deep inside.
Mm.
And it's not generally saying you need to do this, you need to do that, but it's just saying, hey, here's a little picture of what's going on.
Well, that energy we've been harboring.
Yes, yes, exactly right. And that's what your nightmares, where you're being, then we go on to the next nightmare where you're being pursued. That's then that energy that's still in there. So in your first two dreams, those are the overwhelmed swamp dreams, and that's that first stage. The job, our job as conscious individuals, then is to begin to separate out self and other. And in this case, what is me and what is this emotional material?
And so is that separation of the ego right there?
That is separation of the ego from the affect. So that's that first stage. And interestingly enough, this is also similar to the first phase that we go through when we're born, and how we have to initially separate from what is me and what is not me, what is me and what is mother. That's that first separation of consciousness. So it's a repeat in terms of trauma. We have to again separate what is me and what is this overwhelming material. And then I'm thinking back to the nightmares, the dreams.
Yeah, let's go back.
So then after the Matilda, and I think the next dream was
Being chased through this
yeah,
town.
having that feeling of being pursued. And what happens there is we begin to see a difference in the dreams. Those first two we talked about, the gladiator arena and then the Matilda dream, you were paralyzed and somewhat immobilized.
Yes, frozen. I felt frozen.
You were frozen.
I couldn't even move.
And the focus was just on the helplessness and the overwhelming feelings. Then we progress into this dream where things are a little less clear and you're going through the city and you feel like you're being pursued, but you can't see him or you don't see him,
No,
right?
no, but there was this urge in the dream, or this desire to enjoy myself and to enjoy the
Okay.
city, to enjoy that town I was in. But as much as I wanted to do that, there was this other opposite saying, someone's after you, someone's chasing you.
So
So I couldn't feel like I couldn't stay and get to be a tourist.
So that's the beginning of this separation
Okay.
phase, because there's then the predator prey motif often shows up then. I'm separate, but that thing has got the power and
Yes.
it's coming after me.
Exactly.
So and you're
Right on.
you're solid in that phase. And then where you go next, I think, is the one. Oh, the next one then is in your 3 or 4 story residence, and you're talking with a few friends, and somebody says, "Hey, somebody just got in the elevator, and they've got a knife, and they're going to kill somebody." Do you remember that one?
Yes.
So that one then, now you're not being pursued where something's got the power over you. Now you're on it, right? So now the roles have reversed and you're getting your power.
Yeah.
So that's a very beautiful transformation, and that lets you know you're on the path.
Yeah, and I will share in that dream, I felt like I had so much juice. Like I went up those flight of stairs, to beat him up there, and it felt like I was just like gliding.
You said it was like Flash. You were like, Flash. It's just, this is so great. You were, and what'd you say? You told other people to come on,
Yeah.
that they couldn't keep up with
No,
you.
I couldn't keep up. I was ready to do something.
And did you see the person in the elevator then? Was it one of those like bars?
Yeah, it was
things?
bars like the old,
So you could see through the cage.
Yeah, and he had his arms crossed with two knives like this. His head was down, and it was like a black cloak. But
Uh-huh. You were ready to go.
I was ready.
You were ready for it.
And part of that, I was doing the martial arts too.
Is that when you were doing the knife fighting?
I think so.
No,
And
sure.
so part of that might have been where I started doing this stuff and it started building this confidence.
Yeah.
And one of the reasons I did the martial arts was to get this confidence, like I could defend myself in my PTSD mode, like, oh, I might be attacked at any moment. Well, hey, now I have some skills. And
Yeah. It's overcome. You had to face the fear in yourself. You faced the fear directly, right? You went to, here's somebody who's got knives all over the place, who we're going to simulate knife fights, stuff like that, I assume, right?
Yeah.
And you practiced. You did it.
Yeah.
You faced it. And that made a transformation inside you. That transformed. You're no longer running from something or feeling like you were being pursued by it,
Mm.
but you had your own power.